Good afternoon, and welcome to Let's Talk About It Nutrition Edition. My name is Melinda Salinas, and I'll also be your host for today. I'm super excited because March is National Nutrition Month, and during this month, we focus our attention on the importance of making informed food choices and developing healthy eating habits. So in today's episode, we will first have a Q&A, followed by a food demonstration, so make sure that you stay tuned till the end. To talk about healthy nutrition, joining us today, we have Sarah Beckwith, DC Health's Nutrition and Physical Fitness Bureau Chief, who will be answering our nutrition and health questions. And we also have Chef Herb, nutrition educator with UDC's SNAP-IT program, who will be giving us a food demonstration. But before we jump right into our Q&A portion, I'd like to give our guests the opportunity to introduce themselves and also tell us what led you to a career in nutrition or health.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Sarah Beckwith, and I serve as the Bureau Chief for the Nutrition and Physical Fitness Bureau here at DC Health. And that is a great question. Early in life, I was drawn to the power of food and how it could nourish our bodies, bring families and communities together, and even help support the environment. As I've moved through my career, I've become passionate about how do we use policies, systems, and environments to ensure everyone has access to healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate food.
That's awesome. Thank you, Sarah.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chef Herbert Holden, Center for Nutrition, Dietary, Health, SNAP-IT Project Coordinator. And what got me into the nutrition side of this, the education side of it, is that I worked in numerous restaurants throughout, my career, and I found the need to start the education because I always assumed everybody knew how to cook, and I had, some residents come up to me asking me questions about just the basics. I was like, wow. So I said, you know what? I see a need for education because in the restaurants, you can only educate and train the folks that are working with you behind the kitchen. So I need to be out in the public in front of everybody. So that's how I got started with the teaching side of it, in the education, because I thought everybody was like me, but so that's how I got with the education side of it. It's just trying to focus on the basics. Teaching people the basics, and so that's how I got started.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Definitely, it shows that you are both very passionate about nutrition and helping residents to, be informed about the choices they're making, but also learning, the tips and tricks and things that we need to be able to make, healthy, nutritious meals. So thank you again for joining us. And without further ado, let's jump right in and talk about it. So we're going to start our Q&A segment with Sarah. So I have a couple questions for you.
Awesome.
So let's start with talking about what is National Nutrition Month and why is it important?
That is a great question. National Nutrition Month is an annual nutrition education campaign, and it is organized by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. This year's theme is Fuel for the Future. And it is promoting the importance of fueling our bodies at every age and eating with sustainability in mind. So what does sustainable eating mean? It means that we're choosing foods that are healthy for both our bodies and the environment. So the campaign also highlights the importance of registered dietitians as nationally credentialed food and nutrition experts. And did you know that DC Health is home to several RDs, and we provide subject matter expertise?
I did not. That's a really good thing to know.
We plan and implement and evaluate statewide public health nutrition, breastfeeding, and obesity prevention initiatives and programming. National Nutrition Month is also a great time to highlight the importance of nutrition education and nutrition educators.
That leads me to the next question, which is what is nutrition education and why are nutrition educators so important?
Well, I get so excited whenever I talk about nutrition education and nutrition educators. Nutrition education can be thought of as any set of learning experiences that are designed to encourage healthy eating and other healthy nutrition behaviors like healthy meal planning, cooking, food shopping, recycling, even growing a garden. Nutrition education is important at every stage of life, from toddlers to children, adults, and seniors. We know it's critical to establish healthy eating habits as a child, and healthy eating helps prevent many chronic diseases that show up as we age, like diabetes and heart disease, high blood pressure, and obesity. Nutrition educators are so important because they help support healthy individuals, healthy communities, and healthy food systems.
Thank you. That is definitely a lot of information, but all really, really good. So now that we know the importance of nutrition educators, can you tell us a little bit more about how they can help individuals or communities achieve healthy eating goals?
That is a great question. So let's first talk about the dietary guidelines for Americans and MyPlate. The Department of Agriculture and the Department of Health and Human Services release the dietary guidelines for Americans about every 5 years. And the dietary guidelines serve as a key resource for us as health professionals and policymakers. The dietary guidelines are used to inform federal food, nutrition, and health policies and programs. MyPlate is a communication initiative that is based on the dietary guidelines, and it has a goal of helping Americans eat a healthy diet. So the MyPlate symbol is a plate, and it has all 5 food groups on it. If you remember, we used to use a food pyramid to teach people how to eat healthy. But USDA eventually developed a plate because people actually eat off of plates and not pyramids. So why are nutrition educators important? Well, they can really help you learn how to make small changes to eat healthy that add up over time. They help you build skills and confidence to shop for healthy foods, plan and prepare healthy meals, grow your own garden, and even compost food. Nutrition educators truly value all different cultures, and they work to incorporate cultural foods and flavors and traditions into their teaching.
That's a really good point. Especially as we're a city that's very, very diverse. So we also we have access to a lot of different cuisines, but we also want to be mindful that we are also cooking some of those nutrition foods at home and have more control over what we put in our bodies.
Absolutely.
So thank you. That's again all really just for me, like all new information is certainly very helpful. So on that note, how can someone improve their eating habits, whether they have access to a nutrition educator or they're starting this healthy eating journey on their own?
Sure thing. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about 4 easy tips.
Okay.
Number 1, you need to eat. The first step to eating healthy is eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. In general, it's not a good idea to skip meals. Number 2 is to start small. We tend to want to make big changes, but take a look at your current eating routine and then pick 1 or 2 ways that you can switch some of your food choices to be more healthy. So maybe you really like eating potato chips. Well, you could switch to a lower sodium potato chip, or you could move to hummus and whole grain crackers. Okay. Number 3, and I know we've all heard this, but it is so true. There are no good or bad foods. All foods can be part of a healthy diet. We really think about how our food choices add up over the course of a day or a week. So let's say that you really like honey buns. It is totally okay to eat a honey bun if most of your food in a day or a week is overall healthy. Number 4, plan your meals. You have no idea how powerful this can be to help you really eat healthier meals. So think about creating a weekly menu for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. It'll help you eat healthy and save money. Also, check your pantry before you go to the store. Use a grocery list and shop the sales.
Awesome, thank you. That was definitely much more than 4 tips, but to summarize, it sounds like we definitely want to make sure that we are eating and that we're making conscious food choices when we eat, not skipping meals. Setting realistic goals and expectations for ourselves and determining what eating habits we really want to work on. They're not always bad. Meal planning seems to be an important component, whether you're planning for the week or for a couple of days. Especially, I think it helps, at least me, to plan around the days that I know I'm going to be stressed or not have the opportunity to really make a full meal. And then you also mentioned checking your pantry before going grocery shopping in season, which is all great tools. And that way, I think it also helps when you're grocery shopping and you meal plan to not waste any food as well, right?
I think you are a nutrition educator at heart.
I think so. Thank you. I've been learning a lot from a lot of great people, so that helps. So we talked about like those tips and the importance of nutrition and eating healthy. Well, what does a well-balanced meal or plate consist of? Because I think that's also where a lot of people have a difficulty determining what's supposed to be on their plate.
Sure thing. We can think about and go back to the MyPlate symbol. In general, we try and make half of our plate fruits and vegetables. When thinking about grains like pasta, rice, oatmeal, injera, tortillas, we try to make half of our grains whole. When thinking about protein foods, mix it up. So think about chicken and turkey and fish and beef and tofu and beans and nuts and eggs. Dairy is a little bit of a hot topic. We encourage folks to move to low fat or fat-free cow's milk, yogurt. However, a lot of people truly prefer whole milk or 2% milk, and plant-based milks like almond milk have become extremely popular. Number 2 is variety is key. Eat different types of fruits and veggies and protein foods and whole grain foods. And number 3 is try to be mindful of how much added sugar, sodium, and fat we are eating in our foods and beverages.
Oh, thank you. That's certainly very, very great. And what was the website that people can go to see the visual of the plate?
You can always go to www.myplate.gov.
Awesome, thank you. So you mentioned variety as being kind of one of the key things, and even in how we're plating our food. So where do you find inspiration for healthy recipes when you feel uninspired or just don't know where to start?
Sure thing. You are about to meet Chef Herb, and he always has a lot of great ideas for meals. And it's important to highlight culinary skills are truly a skill. So you need to be in the kitchen, practice cooking. I don't have a background in culinary skills, even though I am a registered dietitian. I did not go to culinary school. I'm getting better at cooking, but you didn't hear that. So there are so many great resources to inspire the inner chef in all of us. So you can go to myplate.gov, grocery stores like Giant and Harris Teeter. Not that we are endorsing any one store, but they have such great online recipes.
You also have magazines, I think, at checkout.
They have great magazines.
Okay.
Pinterest and all recipes are also good resources.
Thank you. All great resources and all free resources as well. So it's taking
Absolutely.
advantage of all those different things and all the places that we also encounter and go to for stuff usually. So earlier you touched base a little bit about healthy eating and nutrition across the lifespan as well, which I think is also something important, that even though we may have a routine going for this year, today, the next year, that may also have to change depending on how we're aging or we're getting started. So how can we incorporate healthy eating habits in children and teens or young adults?
Great question. It is so important to start with eating family meals early in life. Prepare meals, come to the table, sit down and eat, if that is appropriate in your lifestyle. Eating a variety of healthy foods is a lifelong social skill. So you can let your children help you in the kitchen. Children, even toddlers, can help you prepare food like tearing lettuce or even like stirring a pot. It's important for us as adults to set a good example for kids. So we should offer many different foods to kids and don't pressure them to eat. It's also not advisable to hide vegetables in food. Kids will always find it. And it will also, they will learn not to trust food. So it's just best not to hide foods. Instead, you can offer one new food at every meal. And even if a child doesn't try it the first few times, you are increasing their exposure to it and they'll become more comfortable with it.
That's awesome. Those are really great tips. So on that note, let's look at the other spectrum. And I guess what are some things that we need to think about or consider for older adults and healthy eating, especially if you're in a family where, maybe as people age or your mom or your grandma age, there's certain chronic diseases that we also have to kind of take into consideration into their diets.
That is a great question. So for older adults, they might need some modifications if they're having trouble with chewing foods, but they can still enjoy all of their favorite foods. So we should probably cook some foods until they're a little bit softer and try to avoid tough meats. As we age, we tend to lose lean muscle mass. So it is important for us to eat foods that are high in protein. So lean meats, eggs, beans. And then for older adults, food safety is super important. Nutrition educators like Chef Herb are always talking about food safety if they're teaching to older adults. As we get older, our immune systems don't work quite like they used to, and so we're more at risk of foodborne illness.
Oh, wow.
So it's super important that we cook foods to proper temperatures, use a thermometer and check the temperature of foods before we eat, and then make sure that we store foods at the proper temperatures.
Awesome, great. So it was making sure that we're incorporating softer foods or cooking them to softer consistencies, incorporating additional protein, but lean protein, and then always keeping food safety in mind. Proper temperatures, and we definitely don't want our older residents getting sick. So thank you. But that leads me to, now that we have kind of like an abundance of information regarding nutrition, where to get started, can you tell us where are some DC Health resources available to residents for nutrition?
Sure thing. Nutrition education is an important part of many federal and local nutrition education programs that DC helps to lead, and they reach thousands of children, adults, and seniors every day. So, for example, nutrition education is a big part of the SNAP Ed program, Women, Infants, and Children program, Senior Farmers Market Nutrition program, and the Commodity Supplemental Food program. Nutrition education is also part of many locally funded nutrition education programs like Joyful Food Markets, Healthy Corner Stores, Produce Plus, and medically tailored home delivered meals. We have a great resource for our Women, Infants, and Children program at dcwic.org, and it has links to all kinds of nutrition education materials, and you can always go to myplate.gov, and it has so many easy to use tools, recipes, and meal plans.
So where can our district residents go in addition to myplate.dc.gov and the WIC resource that you just shared to get information on the other programs such as the Seniors Farmers Market Nutrition Program or any other program that DC Health has?
You can go to dchealth.gov and
Do you want to repeat the WIC website one more time?
oh sure, that is dcwic.org.
Well, thank you so much. That concludes our Q&A portion of today's episode. So again, thank you so much for providing the information.
Thank you, Melinda.
Now we're going to be having Chef Herb have a healthy food prep demonstration. So Chef Herb, thank you for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
So for this episode, this is going to be you pretty much showing us how to put into practice all the wonderful things that Sarah shared with us and providing tips along the way. So what are you cooking for us today?
Today is just a really simple vegetable stir fry.
Okay.
Something simple, easy to do. It's something that families can do together. You know, when it comes to stir frying, there's no particular recipe or rules to follow. I always tell everybody, do your thing. You're the ones that's going to have to eat it. So if you don't like carrots, don't add carrots. You want broccoli or whatever vegetables you choose to use, it's yours. Do your thing. You're the ones that are going to have to eat it. Don't do what I do. I want you to do what you do, okay?
Awesome. Thank you. Well, without further ado, I'm going to leave you two and I'm going to step out so you can cook us some delicious stir fries.
Sure will. Okay, before I get started, I want to go over my ingredients. Always practice food safety. Wear your gloves where it's appropriate. Wash your hands. Kids, you get the kids involved. You can put a glove on them, have them wash their hands, and have them help you cut up the vegetables. There are kid-friendly knives that you guys can purchase if you want to, purchase things like this to have the kids work with you guys in the kitchen. They can cut up their broccoli or carrots or whatever they choose to use. Now, my vegetables that I'm using today, I have different colored peppers. I have some julienne carrots. I have some baby corn on the cob and some broccoli. And I'm also using fresh ginger and fresh garlic. I have some purple onion that I'm using. And again, if you don't like onions, you don't like any of the vegetables that I picked out, do what you like and season it to how you like. Now let's talk about a sauce real quick, because this doesn't take long. My sauce is low sodium soy sauce, sesame oil, vegetable stock, and some cornstarch. That cornstarch is going to help it thicken once you add your sauce to your vegetables, okay? Now, a sauce can be pretty much anything that you choose to use. People think you have to buy a store-bought sauce. No, you don't. Some folks like a sweet type of stir fry. You look in the refrigerator, you notice you have some orange juice in there. That's a sauce for you. Add a little cornstarch to that and pour it in at the end, and you have a nice sweet sauce. You want it sweet and savory, mix it with a little bit of soy sauce or pineapple juice, or you open up a can of mandarin oranges. That juice in there will act as a sauce for you guys. So use what you have. A little bit of chicken stock, vegetable stock, whatever you have on hand. Come up with your own different combinations. You look in your spice cabinet, you have some sesame seeds in there, add a little sesame seeds in there. That is a sauce. There's not no rules when it comes to a stir-fry sauce. Use what you have. Brown sugar also is good in a nice stir-fry sauce as well. So use what you have. Don't go out and spend money on things that you don't have to spend it on when you look in the refrigerator like, wow, I could have just made this from what I had in the house. So I always share that with everybody. Use what you have. Let's look around and see what you have. See what I can come up with. See how creative you can be. And same thing with your stir frying. Now, stir frying is really fast. One of the key components of stir frying is having a wok. And as you can see, I've had this wok pretty much over 20 years. But do you need a wok? No, you don't. Again, I don't want you to spend money that you don't have to spend. If you have a saute pan, it works just as well as a wok. But you're not going to overcrowd your saute pan. You're going to do it in small batches, but this works just as well as a wok. Okay. The rules for stir frying: having everything ready to go because it happens pretty fast. Now, if we was doing proteins with this, like chicken or beef, even seafood, your beef and chicken, you're going to cut it really thin because you want it to cook pretty fast. Your seafood, we're going to cook the seafood towards the end of your stir frying. So any proteins that you want to use, you can do that. You want to do a combination, again, it's your choice. Let's talk about what we're going to serve with our stir fry. I'm using brown rice today. I have my brown rice ready to go. You can choose to use noodles if you want to. You can add your rice or noodles in with the stir fry at the end, and you have a really good stir fry, or you can serve it over top of your pasta or whatever you choose, and you have a good stir fry. So the choice is yours. So let's get started here, okay? So first I'm gonna get my wok nice and hot, okay? And I'm using some vegetable oil, okay? You don't need a lot, because the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna stir fry our onions and our fresh ginger and our fresh garlic. Get those aromatics going. And I diced up my ginger, and I'm gonna show you another method. If you don't have to dice it up, you can just peel your ginger, and you can use a shredder, and you can just shred your ginger over top your oil if you choose to as well. So I just brought this to show that there's different methods to using the ginger and the garlic as well. And you don't have to necessarily use this type of a grater. You can use the box graters that you use for cheese. Those work perfectly for onions and other vegetables as well. People think that you just have to use it for cheese. No, you don't. Use it for shredding up your onions, your carrots, your other vegetables, and you'll be just fine. Okay. Now, the wok heats up pretty fast and it cooks all sides. So just remember that the whole wok will cook pretty fast for you. So it is pretty hot. Now you can see it didn't take long to get hot. And stir frying is exactly what it is. We're gonna stir this up. Control your heat now. You don't want to burn anything. You just want to saute and stir fry everything. All right. Now I'm gonna go in with my garlic and my ginger here. All right. Again, we're gonna saute this together. Get these aromatics going really good. It's starting to smell really good in here right now. I wish you guys could smell this right now. So you want to be mindful, especially when you're adding your garlic. You don't want to burn your garlic. So that's why I say control your temperature. You might want to turn it up. You might come down, turn it up, turn it down. But you don't want to burn your garlic. You just want to kind of soften this up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And if you want to use any other your secret herbs or spices, this is the time to add it in with your aromatics, okay? So they're all fusing together right now. So I'm gonna add my vegetables here. Now, the vegetables, frozen or fresh? I get that question all the time. If you want to do frozen and you're scared to use a knife or you got issues with your hands or what have you, but chef, I can't do all that cutting. You can always buy frozen vegetables. You're not gonna lose no nutrients in those vegetables. These are just plain stir-fried vegetables that they have in the frozen section. There's nothing in it. They've been blanched. Blanching is dropping in hot boiling water about 2 or 3 minutes, locking in the nutrients and cooling them down and immediately put them in the freezer, okay? So that's another way of getting around. I can't cut, or my hand. So using the frozen vegetables. All right, so now I'm going in with my vegetables here. All right, I told you it happens fast. So we're just gonna saute these around until they're nice and crisp. Now, when I'm doing demonstrations, you see me all over the city doing demonstrations for preschool kids, all the way up to older adults. The reason when I'm doing demonstrations, I just don't do a demonstration for the sake of doing a demo. I like to focus on seasonal. For if you're on a budget, the best way to buy vegetables is, especially during your market season, when they're in season, because the cost is down. So I like to focus on those particular seasonal vegetables and fruits as well. And then I'll show you how to preserve them in your freezer. So January, February, March, there's nothing fresh, but you took advantage of the market season, starting in early May, and then normally lasts to maybe late November. So what you're gonna do is you buy all these fresh fruits and vegetables, and I show you how you preserve this and keep the nutrients locked in. So wintertime, you eat healthy and doing healthy recipes like we're doing today, okay? And this is really beautiful. The colorations are looking vibrant in this dish. And that tells me a couple of things, that it's not overcooked and the nutrients are still in my vegetables because the color is there. If it's green, it should be green. If it's red, it should be red. So that's telling me my nutrients are still there. A lot of us overcook our vegetables, especially broccoli. All the time, broccoli starts off pretty green, and when we get done with it, sometimes it's gray and some other colors I've never seen before. So we overcook a lot of vegetables. So that's one thing we always stress: eat your colors, and that means my nutrients are still there. Okay, so my vegetables are now cooking up just nice. I like them, they soft, but they're still crunchy to the bite as well. So now what I like to do is I make a well in the center of my wok, and then I will go in with my sauce. All right, so I got my well, and remember you have cornstarch in your sauce, so you're gonna have to re-stir it before you add it to your vegetables, okay? So now I'm going in the center with my sauce, and as it heat up, it's gonna thicken up, and then we're gonna just toss our vegetables so they can coat into this sauce right here, okay? And again, stir fries are wonderful way of eating fruits and vegetables. And I said fruits because you can add fruits in with your vegetables in the stir fry, all right? It's a one-stop shop, that I like to say. So, everybody in the family can pick out their favorite vegetables. So now we're gonna put them all together and do a stir fry, all right? Now this one here is strictly vegetarian because I use vegetable stock and all vegetables in this. But if you choose to do any type of protein, then do your thing, I always tell you, make it around what you like. And if you season it to your taste buds, you're never gonna have a problem eating it because you season it the way you like it. You'll see me out on the street and say, "Chef, I did your recipe, but it didn't taste like yours. It's not gonna taste like mine. Mine tastes like mine. Yours is gonna taste like what you want it to taste like." Remember, you're the ones that's gonna have to eat it, okay? So now, after a couple of minutes, everything is blended together. Our sauce here is just right on top of our vegetables. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plate this up for you guys real quick, okay? Anybody welcome to come have lunch? Come on and have lunch with me, okay? So I'm using brown rice. And again, if you wanted to add your rice into your stir fry as you're doing it, you can do that as well, okay? But I'm just going across the top of my brown rice here. Oh, this looks good. It smells wonderful. There we go. Now, this is our vegetable stir fry. You see, this does not take long to do. It's really simple. Make sure you have everything ready to go when it's time to start your stir frying. And the nutrients are still there because look at the colors. Green is green, red is red. I mean, it's beautiful. So all the nutrients are locked in and they're still there because it's about eating nutrient-dense foods. So we can stay healthy, and this is something families can do together. Mhm.
Well, thank you. I'm ready to eat because that smells very delicious. So this concludes our episode for today. So we hope that you guys enjoyed it and were able to obtain a lot of information, useful and helpful information regarding nutrition. And again, don't forget to visit livingwell.dc.gov to learn more about healthy living in the district, as well as visit dchealth.dc.gov to learn more about the nutrition programs available here in the district for you. Thank you.